Hey, but this is Zaccheus, but it's not a live word of the day. And I thank you for tuning in. And if you're coming up for the first time, I thank you so much. And if you've been consistently listening to me, I thank you as well. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Well, on today's episode, I entitled this, It's a Struggle Out Here. What I mean is a struggle out here, money wise. It's a struggle, man. Trying to keep up with your bills. A lot of us are living paycheck to paycheck. A lot of us are struggling to get by, just barely putting groceries in the fridge. And you hear it if you're working, if you're employed. If you're employed, hey, how you doing? How's your family doing? Listen, we need more money. We need more pay. While the cost of living goes up, our paychecks don't go up. And it's hard to struggle. It's a struggle out here. Struggle out here because even if we work overtime, you get taxed. By the time you get the overtime money, you gotta work a lot, 16-hour shifts just to put food on the table. Gotta find out of other ways of making money. Paycheck is just not enough. It's just not enough. And some of us are getting $18 an hour, $20 an hour, $30 an hour, $50 an hour. It's just not enough to keep up with the cost of living. Go to New York City, go to LA, now go to Florida, go to New Jersey, go to Hawaii. The cost of living is tremendously high. The rent is too high.
Insecurity crisis is growing as many South Florida families are finding it more and more difficult to put food on the table with higher grocery prices. Now, the organizations that help people in need are finding they need help themselves. CBS News Miami's Ted Scouten joins us live from the Feeding South Florida warehouse that's in Pembroke Park. And Ted, what's causing this?
Well, Elliot, Feeding South Florida tells us that about 1 million people in South Florida, so from Palm Beach down to the Keys, have no idea where their next meal is coming from. But when you look at the shelves here in the warehouse, it may be a little bit misleading. It looks like there's plenty of food to go around, but actually in some key areas, donations are way down. We visited a food pantry in Key West. More people are joining the line for food at the SOS Food Pantry in Key West. Folks needing help putting food on the table. Had you ever needed food assistance before?
No.
So this is the first time you've needed food assistance. Claudine Weinman shops at the pantry. Even though she has a job, she still needs help feeding her family.
It's more expensive than everywhere else. Way more expensive than anywhere else that I've ever lived.
Already this year, compared to last, more than 1,700 additional people have signed up with SOS.
In Key Largo on Monday, we usually had about maybe 110. Now we're seeing about 150 every Monday. So the need is definitely increasing.
As the need is increasing, what's going on with the supply?
It's definitely decreasing.
Normally meat is available when families come in here for assistance, but you can see from this refrigerator here, it's empty.
There's usually meat, like we get pork chops, we get sometimes short ribs or whatever, you get a freezer item. There was nothing today, no meats.
How long has it been since you've had meat?
Probably a couple weeks.
Where we used to be able to provide people a full bag of groceries once a week, people are allowed to come to our pantry once a week. We just don't have enough food to do that anymore.
SOS CEO Tom Callahan says higher food prices are pushing more people into the pantry.
While at the same time, the amount of donations that we've been receiving from our traditional sources are drying up.
As these distribution centers and manufacturers are being more efficient, which is great for business, but for us, we're having to go out and figure out how to bring in food.
Paco Vela is the CEO of Feeding South Florida. The organization helps supply food pantries like SOS. He said now they're trying to figure out new ways to keep the shelves stocked.
What we're doing as an organization is we're starting to go out and buy some of our own food so we can make sure that we have food here available for our partners as well as for families who come in to our pantry to shop.
Things are so bad in Florida, man, that it is the wealthiest state in the South now. and people are struggling just to get by, struggling. They see the food, they have a food pantry. That's how much people can afford groceries in Florida because, listen, and I always said this, and it is true because I have family that live in the Florida area. Family like my father-in-law, brother-in-law, sister-in-law that live in the Florida area, plus friends too that live in Florida. But I live in New York City. And they said, when you get your paycheck in Florida, just cut just cut your paycheck in half. For example, if I'm making 50,000 in Florida, I make 25,000. If my paycheck is $1,300 every time I get paid, or $1,200 if I when I get paid, my paycheck in Florida would be $600. Just cut your paycheck in half. But yet the cost of living in Florida is tremendously high, just like New York. Doesn't make any sense. Does not make any sense whatsoever. Somebody got to. DeSantis, does he really care? The governor DeSantis, does he really care? Let me read this. I have this article I want to share with you. In 2023, 11.12 million households in the US, which is 8.4% of population, experience low food security. According to the Economic Research Service ERS, a digital recycle track system reported that, watch, hear this now, 35 million people, including 10 million children, suffer from food insecurity. Citing data from various sources, number of Americans struggle to afford groceries is a significant issue, which is a large portion of the population experiencing financial strain due to rising food costs. Surveys indicate that 70% of the US consumers are struggling with grocery affordability, and 77% of Americans have felt most significant increase in groceries. This is true. Yeah, you go to that grocery store, man, you pick up a few things and it's like $100 already. You pick up like 4, 5, 6, 7 items and you're already paying $100 already. It's a struggle out here. It's a struggle out here, y'all. Struggle. If you struggle, and if you think that if you come to the U.S. you're gonna get like it's gonna be easier than where you come from, but still you gotta work. It's a struggle out here. Struggle out here. People's it's a struggle. But I gotta believe God that He sheltered us, provide food for us, and He's gonna make a way. Whether it's to build more income, He's gonna open new doors for us. What it says in Psalm 37 verses 25. I've been young, I've been old. That's what David said. I've been young, but now I'm old. And yet have I not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging for bread. And that's what King David said. So God is gonna provide. God is when we lean on the Lord and we trust Him, He makes a way out of no way. He makes a way out of no way and He gives us hope. Ladies and gentlemen, we're living in a moment. Some of us are barely getting by. Barely. Can't even, as you can see, a lot of us are not going out to restaurants no more. And if you're trying to date, you have to have more than one stream of income to afford it. Unless you're making a big income at your job. But when you see people's rent for $3,700 a month, $4,700 a month, $4,000 a month, you gotta question. It doesn't make sense. When you see rent to a tremendous, you're like, how can people afford that? How can people afford that? And then
All right, so like, listen, y'all. We rent is so high, and I guess it's bothering me. Even though I'm a homeowner, I used to be a renter, and renting so high. You got evictions going up. I mean, people are being put out of their homes because these people are literally increasing people's rent. I mean, three times the amount that they were already paying. How is it that you approved somebody a year ago for a $1,500 a month rental, okay, whether it's an apartment or a home, and here we come a year later, you want them to pay almost $4,000 in rent? That don't even make sense. Their income didn't change. It's like they're literally forcing people to be homeless, and it's ridiculous. And I know people like, well, why are you worrying about it? You got a house, you got somewhere to stay. But at the end of the day, this still is the world that I have to live in. Why would I want to live in a world where people are not doing well? When we all are not doing well, things start happening that we don't want to happen. People start robbing, people start doing whatever it is to survive out here. And we really have to change some of these laws, whether we do like a rent cap or whatever it is, because at the end of the day, if they can afford to pay $4,000 in the rent, give them a home mortgage. Maybe start making it mandatory that we put these rental payments on their credit so that they can apply and be approved for home mortgage. Because this is ridiculous. It's like they're literally forcing people to be poor. It's either you gonna either have it or you ain't. So we either gonna have the poor and we're gonna have the people that got it. Okay, it ain't gonna be no more middle class. Okay, because believe it or not, people that are in middle class are struggling, honey. They like popo. They need government assistance and can't even get it. And it's just getting sad. Am I the only one that feel like this? Or maybe I'm just tripping. Am I thinking into this too much? Because I really feel like we need to get a hold of this, because you're going to have people being put out of homes. They working every day. They're going to be living in their car on the side of the road. And it's only because people are out here being greedy. Like, let me know in the comments how y'all feel about all this rent and all of these, interest rates and things like that. How do y'all feel about how things are changing for us just to get the basic thing for us that we need, like a house, somewhere to live? Like, how do y'all feel about it? Let me know in the comments.
And people do desperate things when their back is against the wall, and when they have, and people do, and crime goes up. She's right. People get desperate measures. People do desperate things when they're become desperate, and they take unmeasurable thinking of how they're gonna get money. And when people are left in that state, they'll do anything just to put food on the table. Desperate times calls for desperate measures, and when you talk about rent, I seen rent in New York City for $4,700 a month. There's rent people paying rent for $3,700 a month for two-bedroom apartments. It is extremely high. And let's say, for example, now you have an elderly person. Do you know how much for assistant living in New York City? If you want your private room, $4,000 per month. And what we get paid doesn't measure up to the cost of living. And she's 100% right. People are paying rooms, not an apartment. It's a difference. For a room, we gotta share the bathroom, share the kitchen. Rooms that cost $1,800 per month for a room, just to rent a room. But I remember the time, I'm going way back. I remember the time in the 90s, rooms are like $600, $500. Now, $1,800 per month for a room, just to rent a room. $1,600 just to rent a room. And the top boss is asking how are you and how's your family doing? No, Mr. Big Shot. No, Mr. Boss. I want more money. Where's it? I want more. I want a raise. And people in Florida are working harder, working excessively, and getting paid crumbs. and peanuts and crumbs. No, $18 an hour is not enough. $22 an hour is not enough. No, it's not. Because if I can afford my apartment where I lay my head, then they want you to bend over backwards and go beyond the call of duty for peanuts. And it's not right. And some risky jobs, yes, they raise it, but even $90,000 a year, you can't secure a family in New York City or in California or Hawaii or now even Florida.
No matter how hard you work, in a 9 to 5 setting, your paycheck will be exactly the same every 2 weeks. It doesn't matter how many phone calls you answer. It doesn't matter how great your customer service is. It doesn't matter how great you are with your coworkers. It doesn't matter how good you are at flipping burgers. Your paycheck will be exactly the same every 2 weeks because your hard work will never reflect on your paycheck. It doesn't matter how.
That's right. That's right. It's just not enough. The pay is not enough. And then we read this article, why there's no single definitive number, a significant portion of Americans express dissatisfaction with their jobs. Surveys consistently show that the substantial percentage of workers are not satisfied with their work, with some studies suggesting that 85% of people dislike their jobs. Other studies indicate that considerable numbers of Americans would prefer to change bosses or are actively seeking new opportunities. They are seeking new opportunities with more pay. That's why it's a fact. It's a fact. It's either they dislike the job or some do like the job, but it's just the pay. The pay is unfulfilling, unsatisfied with pay, and some also simply just don't like their jobs. Unfulfilled. You feel unfulfilled, and there's no incentives to stay, especially when you get that paycheck. No incentive to stay. And if a new opportunity comes, you gotta go with it. If bigger opportunity come for you where you make more money, yes, I'll leave it tomorrow because while the rise of the cost of living is here, and it's like it's just like you have to ask God to say, Lord, help us, because it's just not enough to it's just not just scraping by, and we need more. That's why I always tell people to use the gift that God has given you and work at it so later on it can be monetized so you can do something while you love doing it, enjoy doing it, while earning at the same time. While you're earning it, and you can build from there. It's not gonna be easy, not gonna be overnight. You gotta be consistent, you gotta stay consistent, pray, and enhance your skills. Enhance it. Because these jobs, some fulfilling. Yeah, and 85%, that's a great deal. 85% of people are unfulfilled at their jobs. You see, when you graduated from college, you thought you felt secured, you thought your future was locked, and it was sealed. Then come to realize that, and you thought it was okay. Got my degree, and now I'm gonna get a job that's gonna make me enough so I can fund my lifestyle. But it could have been the major that you chose, because nurses in New York City make a good amount. They make a significant good amount, but in other states, they're not even making enough to get by. In other states, in America, the nurses are not making enough. Like a teacher in New York City, after a certain amount of years, make good money. But if you go to another state, it's not the same. Every state is different. Every state is different. So you can have your 4-year degree, get your master's, and still struggling to get by, still struggling to put food on the table, still struggling to provide for your family. Well, I I rather invest in a business where there's no cap. If I make a significant amount and it's just keep my income keeps rising as I build the business, that's great. That's good. That's what you want. And something that you can pass down to your children's children, an inheritance kind of business, that's what you want. But to work for these people, you can't pass down. You see, when you work for somebody, you can't pass that job down because it's not yours to pass down. You can't. So that's why it's best to look into a business, see what business ventures are out there. I understand that business is not for everybody, but there's so much opportunity online, and there's so much things you can that you don't have to pay a big you have huge capital to invest. Just start small. Start with a YouTube channel. Start small, and then grow your income from right there. Or start with affiliate marketing, or start with try to or do e-commerce business online, and start from right there and grow your income, because these jobs, it's capped, and they're not. It's, well, I know capped, in the street language means you're lying, but no, it's these jobs is just out of limit. They only pay you a good. They only pay you a good amount just to get by, just to just to get by, but it's not enough to afford all the cost of living. Just simple. I'm not talking about being lavish and buying all expensive things and Birkin bags and all. None of that. I'm talking about just basic everyday life, and we can't even afford that. And when you're looking at your expenses and how much you can pay, the amount of paycheck that you have, the checks that you is not enough. So now you're thinking about, well, and a lot of Americans are living off their credit cards and just drowning themselves more in debt and more in debt. And we got to figure it out. Well, here's another article that I have to read to you. In 2025, an estimated 77% of Americans workers are living paycheck to paycheck. According to a recent survey by PNC Bank, this means that a significant portion of the population is experiencing financial instability, where they rely on each paycheck to cover their expenses, often struggling with debt and rising costs. While the issue is commonly associated with their lower income households, it's also affecting the growing number of higher income earners, as by this report. So it's just, and this is American. So this is a lot of Americans. 77% of Americans' way of life, living paycheck to paycheck, and realizing that it's not even enough to have just to enjoy yourself a little bit or go away a little bit. And and I must say this: if a lot of Americans do not have $1,000 in the bank, they have no wiggle room. So if anything happens, they gotta pull out their credit cards and swipe, 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 and drown in debt, because a lot of us don't have emergency funds. We're not funding. We don't put away something for emergency because we say, "Oh, I don't have enough to put away for an emergency fund." But so you whip out your credit card, whip out the credit card, and start swiping away, just to cover oops, or an accident. Oops, and accidents do happen. Oh, the car break down. Oh, the refrigerator need fixing. Oh, if we have a hole in the roof. Oh, this and oh that. Things happen. Need a new tire. Things happen. Yeah, things happen. And living paycheck to paycheck, you panic because now you have no you just so hoping that you don't make it, that nothing happens bad. That's that, man, because if you live in paycheck to paycheck, it's hard to cover any oops or any accidents. Very difficult. By the time your next payday, your wallet looks like this. By the time your next payday, that's living paycheck to paycheck. You run out of money, you broke. I don't know, by the time Friday comes, because some of us get paid before Friday, it's no money. By the time your next payday, your wallet looks like this. By the time your next payday, that's living paycheck to paycheck. You run out of money, you broke. I don't know, by the time Friday comes, because some of us get paid before Friday, it's no money. By the time your next payday, your wallet looks like this. By the time your next payday, that's living paycheck to paycheck. You run out of money, you broke. I don't know, by the time Friday comes, because some of us get paid before Friday, it's no money. We gotta get out the rat race. We gotta get out this hamster wheel. And you know what the hamster wheel represents? You keep doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting change. And I'm a person that I learned this not too long ago, maybe about 2 years ago. Use the income that you get, a little portion of your income, because a lot of us are living paycheck to paycheck. So if you could spare $30, put it away from your paycheck. If you could spare $30, put it away, or use it to invest a little bit. You could invest in stocks now. You don't need it. You don't need to be rich to invest in stocks. Or use it. Use a little portion of your money to invest in an online business. Save it. Save your money. Save it. $30 here, $30 here. Make an envelope. Old school way. Save your money, and when you save it up to a significant amount, and you see an opportunity, an online business opportunity, but before you pay your money, always do your due diligence. Always, I'm a big advocate of doing your due diligence and doing your research. But it's time to get out the hamster wheel. It's time. It's time. These jobs are not going to fulfill you. They're not. They're not. They're going to pay you what they want to pay you, while the big wigs get the most pay. While they sit down, relax, you work in your hump. 16-hour shifts, bending backwards, be on the call of duty, hurting your back, working so hard, and still you're struggling to pay bills. Still, you feel unfulfilled. Still, you're barely getting by. You're scraping to get by. Still, you're living paycheck to paycheck. It's time to change the directory of our lives and just trust God. Trust Him. And the live word of the day is coming out of Philippians chapter 4, verses 19. And my God will supply every need of yours according to his riches and glory through Christ Jesus. So God will provide for us. He's gonna provide, but he also give us avenues to take and opportunities to take and to pay attention to. He put things in our way to pay attention to. So let's obey God today and know that He's going to provide for us, and know that He's going to make a way out of no way for us. But this is Zaccheus with another live word of the day. God bless and be safe out there. Until next time, peace. Take care now. Until next time.